my name is Hanifa Nuraini. You can call me Hani or Hanifa, and I'm from English A Tour and Travel Business 2023. So right now I'm going to tell you guys about the travel document, immigration, customs and biosecurity, and flight or cabin information before you are going to New Zealand. So before planning going to New Zealand, you must prepare some travel document, and you need a valid passport or travel document, and make sure that you have the right visa or NZETA, and you have to pay attention to their regulation. So the first thing first that you must be prepared is passport. Make sure you have a valid passport or travel document and hold the right visa or NZETA, and make sure that you have to check that it will not expire until 3 months after the date you plan to leave New Zealand. If your passport was issued by a country that has a New Zealand embassy or consulate that issues passport of that country. And then make sure you also check with the airline you are flying with their rules on passport validity and expiry. Some airlines require you to have 6 months validity on your passport when you travel. And then the next one is NZETA or New Zealand Electronic Travel Authority. Passport holders of some countries and territories do not have to apply for a visa before they want to travel to New Zealand, but must hold an NZETA or New Zealand Electronic Travel Authority. If you plan to visit New Zealand for a short period, you must request an NZETA before you travel if you travel on a passport from a country on the list of visa waiver countries and territories. The countries that didn't need visa to go to New Zealand and only need NZETA are, and if you are visiting for up to 3 months, or if you are British citizen up to 6 months, you need this NZETA. Okay, the next travel document is visa. So if you have a visa for New Zealand, before you arrive and leave, check that your passport details match the details on your e-visa if you have an e-visa, and you have the right visa for what you plan to do in New Zealand. And then don't forget to check your visa to find out what the conditions are, and you may not be allowed to enter New Zealand if you cannot provide evidence that you meet the conditions of your visa. For example, the money you must have to live on in New Zealand can vary depending on the visa that you have. Okay, after you prepare the main documents, you must to prepare the other documents, and you have to gather all the documents that you need to bring with you in New Zealand. So the first one is a copy of your e-visa letter. Unless you have a visa label in the passport you are traveling on, and you have to prepare the evidence that you can meet the conditions of your visa. For example, you can use your travel ticket to show that you are planning to leave New Zealand, and you can use bank statements to show that you have enough money to live on while you are in New Zealand. Okay, so next I will tell you guys about the things that you must be complete before you are going to New Zealand. So these things it's called New Zealand Traveler Declarations or NZTD. So before you travel to New Zealand, you must complete a New Zealand Traveler Declaration or NZTD, and this NZTD asks questions about your travel, including customs, immigrations, and biosecurity information. Okay, next we will move to what you need to do when you arrive in New Zealand. Okay, so the first thing is everyone who traveling into New Zealand must complete a New Zealand Traveller Declaration or NZTD, like I have said before. And then there are some items you have to declare if you are bringing them into New Zealand. So you must to tell the immigration officer that you bring that items, and then you must answer all questions in your declarations and produce your identity documents. And the last thing is, after clearing passport control and collecting your baggage, follow the appropriate lanes through biosecurity screening. Okay, after you arrive in New Zealand, I will tell you in this check in New Zealand, they will ask you some questions before you board or when you arrive, and this applies to everyone, including people who already hold a visa and ZETA or are in transit. And as well as checking your passport and visa, they will check that you have a genuine reason for coming to New Zealand, and then they may want to check that you are of good character and will comply with the conditions of your visa. This could include questions about any conviction you have, or whether you have been deported from another country. And the last thing is, they may ask for evidence about your health. Okay, after you do the check-in at New Zealand, I will tell you guys about the customs and biosecurity. So other border agencies such as the New Zealand Customs Service and the Ministry for Primary Industries or MPI check that you meet their entry requirements. They can refuse to let you enter New Zealand entry if you do not. And some items are prohibited or restricted. You may not be able to take them out of New Zealand without a permit or consent or at all. And this item is include, the first one is Pounamu or greenstone in its natural state, and Pawa meat, and then wildlife, and the last item is protected objects covered by the country. And then I will tell you guys about the entry ban in New Zealand. So there is some items that ban in New Zealand. The first one is equipment for smoking or drugs, and weapon and firearms, and then small high powered magnets such as buckyballs, and then anything which you are planning to use in a crime involving dishonesty, and carnivorous plants, also protected species, and luxury goods of Russian origin. And the last thing is all items that made in Russia. So for your information, if you want to go to New Zealand, I suggest you to didn't bring or wear any items that made in Russia. Okay, the last things I will tell you guys about the flight and the cabin information. So I will choose Emirates for this tour. Okay, so why choose Emirates? Because Emirates offers quiet advantage and comfortable features for passengers. And I suggest choosing business class to get more benefits, and you will feel comfortable during the flight to New Zealand. And then for the baggage information, in Emirates, you can check in as much baggage as the weight allowance for your travel class allows, and the weight of each piece of baggage must not exceed 32 kilos. And this baggage weight concept applies to all routes except when you are traveling to and from the Americas as well as Africa. And then for the cabin information, in Emirates first and business class, one briefcase exceed 7 kilos, and then plus one hand luggage, and then the handbag can be replaced with a garment bag, and maximum 20 centimeters or 8-inch thick. Okay, I think that's it about the information that I can explain to you before you are going to New Zealand. Thank you.